Okay guys, so today I'm going to be doing a short little video on just all the basics on feeding your bearded dragon. So I'm going to be going over how often you should feed them for babies and adults, what you should feed them and what you shouldn't, and supplements that we use and what we recommend. Um, so before we get started, I just want to refer you guys to a website where I got a lot of this information, and I got it from beardeddragon.org and beautifuldragons.com, and they are really reliable sources. They have a lot of good information on their website, so I think you should go check them out, and I'll put the link to their websites in the description. So first, we're going to go over what you should feed them. So starting off with insects, so we're going to go over insects, and I'm going to talk about staples, ones that you can feed occasionally for treats or just adding variety, and some things that you should never feed. And we'll get into veggies and fruit as well. But for insects, some staples are phoenix worms, dubia roaches, and crickets. Those are the three most popular ones. I'm sure there's others out there that people use. I know a lot of people use mealworms, and a lot of people say you shouldn't. Sometimes it's just what you think, but yeah. So phoenix worms are extremely all-around healthy. Same with dubia roaches. And I read that one dubia roach is equal to 5 crickets. So that kind of gives you a good idea of how good those are and why it's a staple. And as far as what you can feed occasionally, there's hornworms, butterworms, waxworms, and silkworms, and a lot of those are just more of treats for your bearded dragon. And what you should never feed your bearded dragon are lightning bugs and catching any bugs in the wild, because you just never know if they'll have any pesticides or any of that stuff. So now we will get into the veggies and fruit. So the greens that we stick with that are extremely good for them are turnip greens, mustard greens, collard greens, dandelion greens, just any of those greens, squash, alfalfa, and those are just a few. And if you guys want a better in-depth list, I suggest going to beautifuldragons.com. They have a really in-depth list there that you can check out. And there's a lot of occasional things that you can feed them on there as well. Like a lot of fruits are more of an occasional treat type of thing. And some things that you never want to feed your bearded dragon at all costs are things like romaine lettuce and like cabbage and stuff, because they really don't have any real nutritional value, and you'll basically just starve your bearded dragon to death, and you don't really want to do that. So yeah, and you also don't want to feed them spinach, avocado, things like that. You might want to check out the website, and it'll give you an even better list of those things. As far as babies and juveniles go, you want to offer insects 2 to 3 times a day, and offer them their greens, their veggies, that type of stuff just once a day. Just offer it to them and just leave it there. And a lot of people don't know how much they should feed them, because bearded dragons are opportunistic feeders, and they'll just keep eating if you let them. So a good way to get around this is just offer them insects and just keep feeding them for about 5 minutes, and however much they can eat in that time period is what you should offer them each time. Now this can change, and you'll get used to your bearded dragon, so you can change this as they grow, because when your bearded dragon is an adult, you're going to lean more towards veggies and greens instead of insects. But yeah, and so when it comes to supplementation, you're going to want to dust your insects 5 times out of the week. And this is the calcium we use right here. We use this to dust our insects with. It's really awesome stuff. And then you're also going to use a multivitamin like this, Herptivite. We really like this as well. So yeah, and then for adults and subadults, you'll offer them insects 1 time a day, and greens every day, and they're gonna lean more towards the greens, obviously. And when it comes to supplementation for them, you're just gonna dust the insects about 3 times a week, and then once a week use the multivitamin. Now what I'm going to do is show you guys how I make my little salad that I feed Oscar, what I put in it, how I do it. So we'll get to that right now. Okay guys, so now I have everything ready to make the salad. So you can see a few things right there in the background. So what I do first is I get the bag of greens, and you can find greens at really any grocery store, like Walmart or whatever, and they'll often have variety bags with all sorts of different kinds of greens, or you'll have to buy the greens separate, which I did, and then I just mixed them in a bag like this. And what I'd like to do is tear up the leaves a little bit so they're not too huge for them. And in here we have collard greens and turnip greens, I believe. So we'll just give them a little salad like that amount. And then while we're doing these other things, I have these juvenile bearded dragon food bite thingies. And so what you do is I just get it about that much, and I put them over here. I'll get a little more out. And what you do is you just let them sit in water so they're nice and chewy for them. It's a nice thing to have in there. It's got like fruits and veggies and all sorts of good stuff for them in it. And then I also add these right here, the baby bites for juvenile bearded dragons. It just adds some extra moisture, and they kind of look like worms, and I think that helps Oscar out because it helps him more enticed to eat the salad. And so we'll just add a little bit in there like that. Let those soak. And what I do with all my salads is I spray them down. You guys can use any kind of mister, and then it just helps them get some extra moisture, and it also helps the salad last longer throughout the day. And I also like to add a little bit of calcium in their salad as well. It kind of helps just add some extra calcium in their diet, and I like that. And sometimes I will also add things like carrots and squash and peppers in here, just to make it more tasty and colorful and stuff like that. But you guys can play around with this and figure out what works best for you and your bearded dragon. This is just the way that we like to do it. So I'm just gonna get these bites out with a fork. You can probably add more than what I did. So once you get all those out, put them in your salad. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe if you liked this and want to see more videos like this. And I will see you guys later.